Bringing the truth to America. This is TruthNet Radio.
All right, hello everybody. We're talking with Lt Col.Guy Razer. Lieutenant Colonel, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Shoot, most of it's posted on Patriots Question 9/11, but I'm a retired 20-year fighter pilot. Used to teach at the Fighter Weapons School, tactical leadership program in Europe that fell directly under ACE, which is a subsidiary of SHAPE, which was the guys that won the war in World War II, Patton and all those boys. Right now, I'm a truth movement man. I'm working with Pilots for Truth, Patriots Question 9/11, Veterans for Truth, Youth for Truth, New York 9/11 Truth Boys, and anybody else that's involved.
And how much total flight time do you have?
How much time?
How much flight time do you have? Yeah.
Oh, I got 3K plus of fighter hours and a bunch of single engine prop time, some twin engine prop time.
Now, some people have said that Guy Razer, that's almost like Top Gun like, and that you might not be real. Of course, I've looked you up in the FAA database, and I've seen Guy Stewart Razer, and of course you have your ratings that you say that you have. But why don't you tell a little bit about yourself as far as what people can expect when looking for, I guess, how they can confirm that you're actually in the military.
Well, I actually ordered my records from the military records department. They never showed up. Standard. But I can get those, and I'll keep trying to get them. I got military flight records that show what I've done. Let's see. What's better is usually a story.
There you go.
This time I ever came to death was in between two runways at Nellis Air Force Base when a F-14 Tomcat that was a member of the Fighting Aardvark Squadron lost a couple generators and dang near plowed into me while I was sitting on the ground with a four-ship. There's 8 guys that know about that at least.
And of course, Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Lottis knows you. I guess he ran into you in one of the mess halls.
Actually, we were in the same squadron together. Yeah.
Oh, you were? Okay, and he's also with our organization.
Bolt Tigers. I was in the Bolt Tigers in Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho. 3 separate times. Twice in F-111s and once in F-15E Strike Eagles.
Yeah. Okay. Great. We're actually getting ready to do an interview here with Captain Lottis.
Really?
Yeah. He's as you know, I'm sure he's current.
Tell him I said hi, man. I haven't talked to him on the phone yet.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing is more important than our communication.
Yeah, absolutely. He's flying right now. He was actually blasting off out of he was heading back to New York. I just emailed him not too long ago, but as we know, he's a former U.S. Air Force accident investigation president. Knows a lot about flight data recorders and whatnot, and I guess you have some experience in that field? Or was that somebody else I'm thinking of?
I did not get into the safety field. I was more into the weapons. In fact, I was in weapons since day one, actually.
Okay, yeah.
And,
all right, it's somebody else I'm thinking of then.
And the weapons school, basically the Air Force Fighter Weapons School, that's what the Navy Top Gun is the Navy Weapons School.
Right. So you were out at Miramar for a little while, right?
Only on Wednesday nights. No. No, I've been to Miramar a couple times, basically on Wednesday nights, but the Air Force's Top Gun program is the Air Force Fighter Weapons School, which is in Nellis.
Oh, Air Force, yeah. All right, sorry.
And it's a 6-month program as opposed to a 2 to 3 week program.
Right, absolutely. Okay, well, good.
Not to distract from the Navy thing. I mean, they're good at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you know, we've talked plenty of times within our squadron here at Pilots for 9/11 Truth, we don't offer theory, we don't offer speculation, but what are your thoughts about September 11th, the intercepts, and the lack of intercepts, I should say?
The one thing I've talked about with the lack of intercepts that I can guarantee you is that I sat Victor, which is nuclear, and that is a certain time frame from klaxon to wheels in the well.
Okay, well, explain that a little bit for people who may not know.
Alert. Zulu alert is the air-to-air air defense program, and it is 5 minutes from klaxon to wheels in the well.
Okay. And explain, if you can expand a little bit further on that for some people who may not know.
Okay, that means from the time you get warning as a pilot to the time you are airborne in a, not necessarily in a fighting configuration, but with your gear up, is 5 minutes.
Okay, and klaxon?
Klaxon is more of a nuclear event.
Which is?
I've never sat Zulu, so I don't know what that is, but it's the same type of thing.
Well, what does Zulu mean? Sit in Zulu.
Zulu alert is basically air intercept alert. We used to sit it over in Europe. I didn't, but
so basically, you're just sitting in a room waiting for orders to go out and jump in your aircraft, right?
Not only in a room, the airplanes are completely hot-cocked. They're completely loaded with live munitions, and the crew chiefs are as important as the air crew in making sure that 5 minutes, and they test it.
Okay, so what? And that's on alert basically in the United States, 24/7, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and you know we had Andrews Air Force Base after the World Trade Center 1 and 2 were impacted up in New York City. The World Trade Center 2 was at 9:03 a.m. That was 30 minutes more, more than 30 minutes prior to the Pentagon being being impacted. And you know, we have Andrews Air Force Base which is within AMRAAM range as soon as they launch from Andrews, 10 miles.
Exactly. But they were not given any information as to what they were looking for. In fact, the Eagles, I believe there were 2 Vipers and 2 Eagles launched. The
Vipers are the F-16s.
Were not loaded.
Right.
They were not loaded. The guys that were loaded were gone because of an exercise. I think it was Northern Vigilance. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm sure others can correct it. Either that or it was Vigilant.
Well, and
I mean they were running so many drills that morning.
Order was changed for responsibility of that information passing to SecDef not more than 3 months prior, and that I don't remember It's been a while since I've gotten into that document, but that document was changed, and it required SecDef approval to launch.
Right, I believe that was when we say SecDef, that means Secretary of Defense, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so the launch protocol was changed a few months prior. A few months prior to September 11th, I believe it was either May or June of.
And Dylan Avery's loose change version 2. The version 2 is accurate with that, and I've researched it, and it's true. I got documents to back it up.
Yeah, Robin Horton has done a lot of research on that too. For those who don't know who Robin Horton is, just Google his name, Robin Hordon. We also did an interview with him. So it looks like there was a stand-down order. I mean, what do you think of that Mineta testimony, where he testified in front of the 9/11 Commission report, saying that the aircraft was 50 miles out, 30 miles out, 10 miles out, that he heard from this young man from the military walking in and telling that to Cheney, and Cheney whipped his neck around and said, well, at first the young man says, do the orders still stand? And Cheney says, of course they do. Have you heard anything to the contrary? And yet it wasn't even included in the 9/11 Commission report. How do you feel about that as a fighter pilot, former fighter pilot?
Well, first of all, being a fighter pilot is like a Marine. You're never former.
Well, that's
still
true.
a fighter pilot. Second of all, Cheney is the biggest liar I've ever heard of in my life.
Well, we all know that. Tell us the good nitty-gritty, dirty details.
But I'm convinced that his stand-down order was the order that he said was still in effect.
So you really think, as a fighter pilot, you think that was a stand-down order?
Yes. However, that information is very well withheld, which is why he doesn't want any of his documents to be seen either. If you've seen that in the last couple of days, Cheney's determined that he's not part of the administration.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Well, yeah, he's protecting himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, the whole administration has been passing laws to protect themselves and grant themselves immunity.
At least they're well protected by the Attorney General.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you've had to go through since you've been starting to speak out and how you've been, harassed and whatnot? Would you like to speak about that?
Well, yeah, military installations now you can't get on YouTube for national security reasons. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Number 2, I live in a tent. Number 3, my stuff was stolen. The night before, I was trying to take pictures of something on a military base.
What were you trying to take pictures of? Do you want to discuss that?
Not right now.
Okay. That's fine. Well, you know, it's better to hide out in the open, right?
Yeah, okay. Forced labor camp, i.e. concentration camp on Vandenberg Air Force Base, confirmed by an active duty Air Force officer.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. That's interesting. And Vandenberg is located?
I was going to take pictures of it Saturday morning, and Friday night I was basically robbed.
Okay, and let all our listeners know that today is June 23rd, 2007, Sunday. But continue.
Yeah. It's been rough, but standing up for the truth is, like I said on Patriots Question 9/11, I still stand by it. It's not only a responsibility, it's my duty, and they're not going to get away with it.
Yeah, well,
they're trying to rake down the Constitution.
Yeah, they certainly are.
And I have documents that say that some of the stuff that they passed in bills lately, the last paragraph says, even if this is determined to be unconstitutional, it takes precedence. And I cannot stand that.
Yeah.
It will not happen. Not on my watch, not on our watch. We have to stand up.
Absolutely. So,
the other thing, I want to say something else.
Sure.
I was thinking about this before I talked to you, man. And the awesome part of what we're doing is that truth breeds truth, and all we have to do is support it, while lies breed lies, and all they can do is defend it.
Yeah, I'm noticing that a lot lately with my research. Every time I try to get answers from anybody, I get stonewalled. Anybody within the government.
That is their only defense.
Yeah, and
only
I get stonewalled.
To stonewall us.
Yeah.
But when our snowball gets so big, it's just going to roll them over them.
Yeah, it's doing that now. It's definitely doing that now.
It is, because guess what? Truthers connect in 1 second.
Yeah. When truth is on your side, you have nothing to lose.
Liars, it takes them forever to connect unless they got money.
Right. Absolutely.
Did you see the Purdue University, how much they got paid?
Yeah. Yeah.
$6.03 billion.
Really? Was that much?
What does the university do with that much money in a year?
Wow, I didn't know it was that much. I knew it was up there, but
yeah, it got doubled.
And they have some connections to the Pentagon, from what I hear, as well.
Yeah, direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a gentleman that's in fact I posted it on my myspace.com/SuperEagle69.
Right.
I just posted it there yesterday.
Okay, well, let's get back to that a little bit. Some people argue that since you have a MySpace and your name is Guy Razer, something that could be out of Top Gun. Although you can be verified throughout the FAA database. Some people argue since you have a MySpace that maybe you're not real. I mean, I have verified you myself.
Tell you what.
I have verified you myself, and I have also, for the record, spoken with Lt Col Razer about TWS, RWS modes, and all different types of missiles used, the AMRAAM, the AIM 120C, and some things he couldn't divulge, but he definitely knows his stuff. And so we'll put it that way, people. But anyway, why don't you go a little bit into that, so people, we really, bring the point home that you are who you say you are.
Okay, I don't like to brag.
Well, go ahead, brag. This is your time.
I'm an F-111 driver originally.
Right.
I got more time at 400 feet in the middle of the night without being able to see out the front window at 500 plus knots than most people have watching TV. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Now another question is, since you were in the Air Force,
I also used to teach from the right seat.
Right. Since you were in the Air Force, how were you able to fly an FA-18 Hornet?
I was stationed at Eglin.
Okay.
And the test guys from Pax River came down. I gave them F-111 rides. They gave me Hornet rides.
There you go.
And actually, they didn't give me Hornet rides. They put me in the front seat and never touched a stick.
Excellent. That must have been a blast. As we talked about the MiG-29 as well, that must have been a blast.
MiG-29 was with the 1st Polish Fighter Squadron out of Warsaw. And I was actually with Tactical Leadership Program out of Florin, Belgium. They can verify that. And let's see. What we were doing was teaching them how to operate with tactical skills as opposed to hold the pickle button down and wait for somebody to vector you in for a kill. And we had a 4-ship of MiG-29s. I was in actually the back seat that day, and a 4-ship of Su-22s against a 4-ship of F-16s that were out of not the Netherlands, but not the Netherlands. Shoot, I have to remember those guys because the Su-22 boys got lost. Anyway, it was against 4 F-16s that were NATO also. Here's something else they can verify. On September 11th, I was in Norway running about a 45 ship, and it was my day actually to run it. Sortie, basically a mixture of all kinds of NATO aviators, and there were about 50 flag officers watching the operation that day.
Where was this from?
Right along with everything else.
Where was this from?
It was in Norway.
Okay. And what was going on?
That's as much as I'll defend my reality. That should be enough.
Okay. Well, hey, I think it's pretty concrete. I know you know when two pilots get together and do some hangar talk, and you can tell right away when another pilot doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, and if he's a wannabe. And I definitely can tell that you know, you're definitely one of us. Let's just put it that way.
Colonel Addis can verify my being.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
As I verify his right now.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about how you feel about September 11th and any other aviation related. I mean, we got these aircraft, hitting the towers at more than 120, 150 knots over VMO, which is the never exceed speed on the airframe, which is supposed to cause structural failure at those points. We got, and not that we're talking about no planing here, but those aircraft must have had to been modified. Not that we get too much into theory, but I mean 120, 150 knots over VMO. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Pentagon. Pentagon flight data recorder states that the aircraft was traveling 120 knots over VMO. I mean, you run out of elevator at some point, don't you?
Yeah. Plus, one thing I want to iterate, I think, and I have every time I've talked to people, is that there will be mistakes in our research because they are withholding the most important evidence, and because of that, we infight, and we got to stop that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And what you're doing is correct because you don't conjecture.
Right.
You talk fact that's verifiable. I may be guilty of conjecture, and I may be.
Well, we all have our own opinions every once in a while, that's for sure. But and we all are going to have our own opinions, even within a pilot community. But as we know, as pilots, we inherently don't speculate and we don't offer theory, because when we do something like that and we live in the gray area, we die. So we stick to facts, and then when we have factual evidence that we can show, we do show it, and we let people make up their own minds based on the facts. But
issue
of
is,
course but of course we also we also have to offer opinions sometimes individually based on our experience. I mean, our individual experience is something that we definitely can offer opinion based on when we do look at the facts, because the government is not offering anything for answers right now. So sometimes, it's not so much being an appeal to authority that others have to look at, but we definitely have to, at times, as professionals, and considering the fact that the government is not very forthcoming with answers, based on the factual evidence that we're looking at, sometimes we do have to offer our opinion based on experience.
True. And I am not anti-government. The United States government, the way it was set up by the founding forefathers, is correct, and it will stand.
I agree.
There are perpetrators that have infiltrated the highest levels of it, and they will not stand.
Yeah, that's why I like to call this more of a patriot movement than a truther movement.
It's both.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and I don't know if it's disinfo. I'm still learning myself through my research. Like I said, I just started researching this stuff last year. But I'm looking at this stuff, and just by questioning the government based on this information, because we all know, it's already been proven, there's been cover-ups, there's been lies, and there's been deception. And as a matter of fact, Lee Hamilton himself, the co-chair of the 9/11 Commission report, says, well, we were set up to fail. We didn't have enough money, we didn't have enough time. A lot of people have things to hide. If I go down the list, over 100 people right there. The average American listening to this should be highly concerned, considering that 9/11 was the catalyst for everything we're in today. 2 wars, many people dead, more than were killed on September 11th. Thousands, tens of thousands of more injured. Hundreds of thousands on the enemy side that are innocent civilians, from what I understand, killed.
And the forecast is to invade Iran.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is unacceptable.
So, considering that the catalyst of all this was September 11th, and that even the co-chair says that there were cover-ups and many people have things to hide, whether that might be incompetence or whether that might be deliberate and intentional, we need to find out. And so far, what I'm looking at, when I started my research, I tried to find everything I possibly could to back up the government story. And here I am a year later with everybody else, Pilots for 9/11 Truth, and you guys.
Yep. That's because we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah. I didn't want to believe at first that our government might have had something to do with this, but,
I tried to disprove Dylan Avery, and I can't.
Yeah, well, he does admit that there are some mistakes in his film, and he is coming out with Loose Change Final Cut here shortly. I believe it's he's trying to get it out by the 6th anniversary coming up here, September 11, 2007. And from what I understand, they're doing a very good job with it, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And
well, he's got one of the I won't say insiders, but he's got one of the guys that was inside WTC-7.
Yeah, they just released that news not too long ago with Alex Jones.
That's going to be, how many smoking guns do we need? I hate that word, but...
Yeah, I don't like that word either, but, it's just, it's not even smoking guns anymore, it's just basic facts.
Yeah, really, it is basic facts, and there's so many of them, you can't refute it.
Yeah, it's just... hey, look, here it is. You either take it or you don't. And it's amazing how many people make up excuses out there. I mean, they make up excuses based on our flight data recorder research that, 2 to 6 seconds are missing from the flight data recorder, some of the arguments out there. And we called L3 Communications, the maker of the flight data recorder, and they say no. Though the most the flight data recorder data could have missing is up to 0.5 seconds, based on regulation and based on the way the standards that they build their flight data recorders to. So I mean, we're looking at, I've even used these government loyalists of the official story, I've even used their argument that they supposedly have a flight data recorder expert with them who wants to remain anonymous and doesn't want to debate us face to face based on the flight data recorder. He just wants to, post on the internet, which is typical. But listen.
What did TSB tell you when you called them?
Oh, no comment.
The FBI was running the investigation.
Yeah, and then when we called the FBI, of course, they stonewalled us also. And we also have them on recording saying, that the Pent Bomb team, the team that was put together to investigate American 77, is now dismantled. Obviously to avoid our questions.
Yeah.
And the only way we can get these people to start answering these questions is based on, getting as many people as we possibly can to start questioning it. And hopefully, the word's getting out there. I mean, we were on Yahoo News and PR Web with this latest from Jim Fetzer and Scholars for 9/11 Truth that he put out, which was a very good article, by the way. But there needed to be some corrections, which we have up on the main page of the website now. Jim Fetzer and I worked on it together, and he's a reasonable guy. He's not bad, and a lot of people do spin his words. I think that, sometimes he might be better at he might be better served in looking into details to wake up more of the public. But he's a scientist, and that's what he does. He's looking into what he feels he needs to look into. So be it. But he was very reasonable.
And that's fair. We just have to realize that they're withholding the most important evidence.
Yeah.
How many pieces of security camera footage do we have from the Pentagon? What is it, 4 to 6 frames now?
Yeah, 4 to 5, 6 frames. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have a cinematographer that's working with our team now. I don't know if you know, but
the one thing you can tell from that thing is, number one, it ain't an airplane, and number two, it has no trajectory.
Yeah, well,
it's perfectly level with the ground. Whatever you can see.
We have Pierre, who is up on our list of members now. He's not a pilot, but I don't know if you've looked at it, but we have a link up there. He's a cinematographer. He's done 1,400 AV programs, I guess you could say. He's a teacher of editing and filming and all kinds of CCTV stuff, and he's done a full analysis of that DOD video, that 5 frames video. And it turns out that it looks like there's a lot of conflicts with that as well. And that list, that link can be found on our site at pilotsfor911truth.org/core.html. And he's actually helping us out on Chapter 3 right now that we're doing. But, so Lieutenant Colonel Razer, I thank you for speaking out and having this interview.
Hey, thank you for having a voice too, man.
All right, well...
if we yell loud enough, they might hear us.
Yeah, we're thinking about having that convention coming up here soon, the Pilots for 9/11 Truth Conference that I'm trying to put together. And it looks like it's going to be in Cincinnati. We're hoping to shoot for late September, early October. And I hope to see you there.
Vancouver's going on right now, and there's an important announcement tomorrow.
Oh, is there? Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, the San Diego truthers had a citizens grand jury. Did you know about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually linked to that, and we endorsed their grand jury.
This is a follow-on to that. It's an international citizens grand jury.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that's supposed to be announced tomorrow. It's good. The conference is going on right now.
Yeah.
Today is the 23rd, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be announced on the 24th.
Wow. Okay, great. Well, we're looking to do our conference as well, and I hope you'll be able to make it. But of course, we'll keep everybody posted, and anybody out there who can help out in trying to organize this, we'll definitely welcome the help. But Guy Razer, I appreciate you talking with us, and stay on the line, and I'll talk to you after we end this interview.
All righty.